All right, guys. So right now in this video, we're actually going to finish up language. All right. So I thought it was going to be a three-parter, but apparently I can make it two. We did have to go over a little bit on that last video, and I apologize for that. I try to keep them within 7 minutes, but it seems like I talk a lot by myself, which is alarming. Anyways, in any case, we're going to continue. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen with y'all right now. Cool. All right, check it out. Got Bark here on the side saying, chill out, homeboy. All right. So, how do you know what words to choose? Right. So when we're talking about language and like we just went over like structural versus like conventional language or like denotative versus connotative language, how do you actually know what types of words are the best ones to use when you're talking about your speeches? And so when we keep this in mind, especially like when we're going over this, because like we want to think about informal and persuasive speeches. Those are the two highest graded speeches that you have. And you want to make sure that you're using the correct word choices because sometimes a lot of students get like the formal and I might have said informal there, sorry. The informative speech and the persuasive speech mixed up a little bit. And it's because when you're trying to speak to inform someone, it kind of can have this persuasive sound. And so we don't really want that to happen, all right? So I'm gonna continue on. So how do you know what words to choose? Knowing what words to use can be kind of tricky sometimes as we want our audience to know what we're talking about, right? And this kind of just kind of comes with experience sometimes, you know, like it really just kind of comes with like, okay, I've been like trying to do this for a little bit of while, or like I've had some experience in this, so I kind of know what to do, but let me do some research. And so, and it could be like I've done a lot of research, but I've never actually did it. So, and this is where your campus services comes in, like into play, right? You guys can go and like go to the speaking center and practice your speeches there, and I'll give you extra credit for that too. So don't worry. But yeah, so it just kind of comes from experience and a little bit of research on how to know which kind of words to use. But I'm going to give you two different ways to kind of think about this. So some words, however, can be concrete or they can be abstract. And so what concrete means, concrete are words in your book that's defined as things that are tangible, right? So things that you can actually see, right? In an informative speech, you might want to have an object show us really quick and then put it back down. You might want to show us um, maybe like a photo that you guys took when you were out at a particular area and you brought back something with you. That could be a concrete photo, right? It's a snapshot in time. Um, so kind of things like that. I would primarily say that concrete words and things like this would actually be something more appropriate for your cultural artifact speech, but we can actually use these concrete words and things and objects within our informative and our persuasive speeches, okay? And so let's go on to abstract, right? So abstract is defined in your book as words that refer to concepts and ideas. And you really kind of like want to think about this more so in the sense of like a persuasive speech, right? Because in a persuasive speech, you can use these abstract concepts and be able to provide statistics with that to persuade us to what you are actually talking about in your persuasive speech, right? Same thing with the informative, but you would just be presenting the facts. You don't want to tie us and use words that might be too concrete or might be too abstract and might be a little bit on the persuasive side because then that just becomes an informative speech that turned into a persuasive speech, right? So we want to like make sure that we're navigating these words a little bit correctly. And like as I said before, guys, it just kind of comes with experience and research. And so, you know, you just kind of have to like you just got to do it and then that's when you'll gather all the knowledge that you need to be able to decipher between the two. All right. And so we know like how do we know which words to choose? And here's kind of like some examples on which words that you would choose. But there's also something like which words should I avoid? And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, like I think it was on I forget what it's called, but it's like this small clip of Iggy Azalea and she's trying to rap, but someone like ad-libbed over her and like we're ordering Chinese food and like it was just hilarious. But it's because the certain words that she chose to perform in that particular time, no one could hear it, right? Like everyone thought like she was just speaking gibberish, which actually it kind of sounded that way. So I'm not really Iggy Azalea fan, but I thought this would actually be hilarious. So just letting you guys know. So which words to avoid? Knowing how to cut out clutter in your speeches will help with being able to present your speech or idea more effectively to your audience. And so when I say clutter, this is what I mean, okay? And this is defined in your book, okay? So clutter is defined in your book as discourse that takes many more words than necessary to express an idea. So what clutter means is like you're just like talking on and on and on and on and on, and you've just explained one thing, and we're getting lost in your words. Like we have no real big idea about what you're actually talking about. Like you might just say, oh yeah, like the sky today is like so amazing, and like it's so blue, and there's so many clouds out there, and the birds are flying in the sky, and you know how many out like layers of atmosphere that are out there. But also keep in mind, carbon is bad. You see what I mean? Like you have all these details and all these things that it just doesn't make any sense. And so like all of those things can be cut out from all that entire sentence of just trying to say like carbon is bad for our atmosphere. Done. Right. So when we think about things to avoid, we want to think about unnecessarily explanations, especially in our our persuasive and informative speeches, because we're going to be timed and you guys need to stick to a very strict time schedule on that. And so definitely keep that in mind when you have this, when you're having your speeches done. Okay. All right. So this is the end for language for this week, guys. It's over. It's nice and done and compartmentalized and done. So you guys can relax, like Snorlax, and we'll move on to the next one, which we're going to be talking about organization. And this is really going to help with your informative and persuasive speeches. We're going to talk about how to organize those speeches and figure out what's the best organization method for you. All right. So I will see you in organization. Bye, guys.